Hello there, good evening. Welcome to News Night here on Metro Television. My name is Bridget Otu. Thank you very much for joining us. It's Monday and we're happy to have you join us. The headlines tonight. Fire guts GT Bank, Bank of Africa, nearby structures at Opera opposite Malcolm Makola branch in central Accra. Affected area cordoned off by the police as firefighters battle to contain the raging inferno. High tides and rising sea levels severely impacting livelihoods of fishermen across coastal communities. Many canoes already destroyed in Jamestown within the last 24 hours by the tides as Meteor Agency urges caution. And 4 suspects connected to series of bullion van robberies in Accra denied bail for the 3rd time by an Accra Circuit Court due to the severity of the crime committed. Also, spare parts dealers at Abosokan say they will only heed to call for relocation by the Greater Accra Regional Minister only when adequate basic facilities and utilities have been provided at the new site as Abosokan. And remember, we're streaming on Twitter at Metro TV GH. If you're on Facebook, it's at Newsnight and at Metro TV Ghana. Our very first story tonight, and fire has gutted GT Bank, Bank of Africa, and nearby structures at Opera opposite Malcolm Makola branch in Accra Central. The affected area has been cordoned off by the police as firefighters are battling to contain the raging inferno. Items costing thousands of Ghana cedis are believed to have been destroyed, and the spheres of more structures could face same fate. We bring you shots of the situation. And those were some scenes there, and security agencies continuously warn onlookers to not get closer to incidents like that when happening, that you stay as far as possible and allow the professionals to work. Moving on to some more stories. And a bail application prayed by counsels for the 4 accused persons allegedly involved in a bullion van attack at Abedigbon in Jamestown has been denied bail for the 3rd time by the Accra Circuit Court. The decision, according to the court, was premised on the severity of the crimes committed.
For the presiding judge, Evelyn Asamoah adjourned the case to Tuesday, May 17, 2022. She said the severity of the case led to the denial of the application as brought before the court. This becomes the 3rd time the accused has been denied bail by the court, though the lawyers gave extensive reasons for which the plea should have been considered. The accused, Constable Yaro Afisu Ibrahim, Constable Albert Ofosu, Constable Richard Boesu, and Constable Rabiu Jambedu are standing trial for allegedly robbing a bullion van at gunpoint, leaving a police officer and a pregnant woman dead. Though one of the counsels on the case, Justice Terry Waja, accused the prosecution of unduly delaying the process to punish the 4 accused persons, the latter refuted, arguing the accused persons are likely not to appear in court should the bail be granted.
And a 42-year-old taxi driver has been found dead in his cab at Bremai in the Swami municipality of the Ashanti region. Residents in the area who could not withstand the nauseating stench discovering the body of Kwabena Fosu in the back seat of the cab parked in the neighborhood for 3 days. And the body was found in a state of decomposition, and police have begun investigations into the death of the taxi driver. Dr. Donko Fojo is the assembly member for Katinka, where the incident occurred.
Light issues go have because now much me baby. It will come about 5:45. Nti bedru ha na me nana hima so e meeting e bronu ya incidents yesu nana hima kufuri ama no meeting. It me tra ase be meeting na obi boy abeti say asama asie ni na.
The car owner called the deceased mother and she confirmed it was her son. The police opened the door and found that the body had been there for 3 days. We had light issues yesterday, so I visited to check. I arrived here around 6:15 a.m. and I also had a meeting with the Queen. Just when the meeting was about to start, we were informed about the incident. We then halted the meeting and ran to the scene. We later informed the police about it, and they arrived in less than a minute.
Police phone by bill so here na say o here a body na o we be say be 3 days in the here ebenya na o maame no e kan man tem ya fosu ni no say ya na tem bia say o ta pa kan si ya na o ye adwuma bra aha ne be bia mo say enwunu wa ya o ta ege na home am say we de Nyankopon am fa fia ba ya homeje we de o je wantimi ansori bi.
Right. And the Kuntunsi District Court has on Monday, April 25, 2022, remanded a 25-year-old Emmanuel Boateng into police custody to reappear in 2 weeks for allegedly killing his friend Kweku Edu Jemfi, who's a level 200 student of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Kumasi, over a debt of 300 Ghana cedis and Sewa in the Busumtrit district of the Ashanti region. There's more. And one person has been arrested by the Northern Regional Police Command in connection with the killing of 9 Fulani men or people at Zakoli, a community in the Yende municipality of the Northern region. And this was revealed by the Northern Regional Police crime officer in an interview with our Northern Regional correspondent Al-Hassan Dibaba in Tamale.
9 Fulanis have already lost their lives in recent attack staged by assailants about a week ago. The latest adding to the number is the case of a man believed to be a Fulani herdsman who was reportedly killed on Saturday at Kuili in the Tatale Sanguli district of the Northern region. The community has voiced its worry over the increasing incidents and asked the Inspector General of Police to urgently intensify its investigation and bring the culprits to book. The leadership in statements also lamented on what they say is extreme discrimination against Fulanis due to government's lack of response to the recent attack at Zakoli. Although police investigations are underway, reasons for the killings are still unknown.
The issue of the Zakoli one, it was an unfortunate incident whereby 8 Fulani settlers were murdered, and it was based on a group of people suspicion that robberies that had been going on at a particular spot on the Yendi Zabzugu Road were committed by Fulanis. So such gentlemen decided to take the law into their own hands and proceeded to go and murder these innocent people. I mean, as I put it. our investigations discovered that about 3 to 4 communities were razed down, burnt down completely by these gangs. And after killing these 8, it took the intervention of the police to prevent further crimes being committed by the group. Otherwise, we would have heard more. So our investigations led to the arrest of one person who's currently on remand, and we are questioning him. And as we speak, our investigation is tightening the noose around the person, and we suspect that he was the one who carried most of these henchmen to these locations to perpetrate these crimes.
And scores of customers of the Registrar General's Department were today left stranded at strike by members of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, Ghana, CLOGSAG, in demand for the payment of their neutrality allowances continues this week. CLOGSAG laid down their tools on Thursday, April 21, 2022, following the inability of government to pay the allowance as agreed upon in January this year. Ernestina Afaka visited the department and came through with the following report.
Our first port of call was at the national headquarters of CLOGSAG, where offices were left deserted because of the strike. A visit to the Registrar General's Department saw some Ghanaians seeking government services left stranded, frustrated and disappointed as there was no one to attend to them due to the strike.
I just quickly left the office to come and quickly pick up an important document that I had applied for, and I came to meet the notice here. So it would have been good to have gotten the document today since we needed for some further transactions, but unfortunately I'm not able to get it today.
Actually coming from the Volta region, and then I'm here to re-register my business, and unfortunately I came to meet the strike action, and it's really troubling, you know. I heard about the threat, you know, but I didn't know it has commenced. Actually, otherwise I wouldn't have been here. And I really need a certificate for something, you know, also. That's why I came, and the strike is going to hinder my progress.
The head of the public relations at the Registrar General's Department, Nicholas Ofori Obingchum, while sharing in the plight of the client, said they were left with no choice but to embark on the industrial action.
Definitely we will feel frustrated because we are here to serve. And when such scenarios or such things are occasioned by this strike action, it's quite unfortunate. And we are still entreating our clients to use our online portals to renew their businesses and register. But with respect to full operations, as we have to obey the directives of our leadership, there's little we can do.
And today is World Malaria Day. And as the world focuses attention on the killer disease, the Public Relations Officer of the Traditional Medicine Practices Council, Numo Blafo III, has called on government and officials in the health sector to focus on the use of herbal medicine in the treatment of malaria.
Malaria is a preventable and treatable disease that continues to have a devastating impact on the health and livelihood of many people around the world. In 2020, there were an estimated 241 million new cases of malaria and 627,000 malaria-related deaths in 85 countries, including Ghana. World Malaria Day is annually marked to focus global attention on malaria and its overwhelming impact on families, communities, and societal development, especially on those in sub-Saharan Africa. The 2022 World Malaria Day is under the theme, Harness Innovation to Reduce the Malaria Disease Burden and Save Lives. The WHO by this is calling for investments and innovation that bring new vector control approaches, diagnostics, anti-malarial medicines, and other tools to speed the pace of progress against malaria.
Capacity at the lowest level of healthcare delivery, the primary healthcare level, and below that is absolutely critical. So we need to relook at whether we have adequate human resources or not, and then invest in that. And that obviously also means that you have to put in more of financial resources. I think second thing is surveillance. I think we talked about integrated surveillance, including genomic surveillance. The third is we've seen how investments in research and development pay off. And therefore, we need to invest in innovative tools that are needed for our own diseases and our own problems.
Malaria is caused by parasites that are transmitted to people through the bites of the infected female Anopheles mosquitoes. Its symptoms include fever, chills, sweats, headache, body aches, nausea, and vomiting. The symptoms may sometimes recur every 48 to 72 hours, depending on the type of parasite involved and how long the person has had the disease. Although a lot of progress has been made in efforts to control the malaria scourge, the disease still persists in many countries. It is therefore imperative that people keep the environment clean, clear their drains to avoid stagnant water where mosquitoes live, using insecticide-treated mosquito nets, wear clothes that cover most parts of the body, and use insect repellent on exposed skin to avoid mosquito bites.
A day like this that is being marked with the theme of finding innovative or using innovative means of curing or preventing the disease. I think we should really focus on the traditional medicines which our forefathers, great-great-great-grandfathers or whoever ancestors have actually used to preserve them, to protect them from the disease. Because if you look at what we have now and we're still facing the problem of malaria, then I would say they were better off because they weren't living in big houses like this, having mosquito nets, covering your windows and your doors and all that. Yet they were able to withstand the malaria disease as it comes and in whatever forms it comes with. They were able to even cure it when they find it that this disease is with one of them. And they cure it and cure it, not managing it as we have it today with orthodox medicine. So if we are to refocus and maybe look within ourselves, what we have, what has kept our forefathers before us, that is the traditional medicines that they use to prevent and also cure the disease. I think we will be better off.
Now, international policy and security analyst Sani Adib is urging Ghana and France to engage more in trade and commerce following the re-election of French President Emmanuel Macron, who won with 58% of the votes. Sani Adib notes the sour relations with other countries in the region, saying improving trade will be the way to go.
Africa, France's relationship with some countries has not been the best. In February, the French ambassador to Mali was expelled and later its troops pulled out. In Niger, some parties that oppose Western military influence rejected the approval by lawmakers on Friday, a bill allowing the deployment of more European special forces, which will include troops from France. Yet, in Ghana, the French ambassador has enjoyed goodwill, winning a re-election bid. International policy and security analyst Adib Sani says new diplomatic relations must be sought with France.
Ghana has been a very good trading partner with the French. We rely to a very large extent on their electronics. They also rely on some of our raw, products and all that.
Right, and we'll definitely get that visuals for you a bit later on. But the Ghana Police Service, in partnership with the German Development Agency, has commenced the second session of the Enhanced Visibility Policing Concept.
The police administration first commenced the pilot of its transformed community-based policing strategy on the 7th of April 2022, where 58 district police commanders and community policing coordinators were trained and sent into the community. The second session seeks to train 40 participants comprising of district commanders, inspectors and chief inspectors on how to better engage in community policing. The director of the Community Policing Unit, ACP Reverend Laurentia Wilhelmina Akoli, noted the new strategy was as a result of the IGP's initiative to combat crime by increasing police visibility and accessibility.
The heartbeat of the IGP is community policing and visibility. For that matter, the enhanced visibility community policing concept has been brought into the Ghana Police Service. Basic reason is that he wants crime to be combated or reduced, and to reduce the fear of crime.
She outlined the program's different approach to police reactivity.
Community policing, like we are saying, is a proactive way of policing. Before now, let's say we were doing reactive policing, where we sit at our stations for people to come and report crime before we move. But this concept is going to be very proactive because we are in the system there, or for that matter, community policing will be sent to the communities where the police officers will be working together in partnership with their stakeholders.
Technical advisor of community policing and police accountability for the GIZ, Gideon Nikwe, explained how the GIZ was supporting the new strategy.
This program was started in 2019 where we met with the Ghana Police Service to find out which areas they would need support. So they agreed to do support in 3 areas. That's community policing, and then police accountability, and then training system as well. So the GIZ police program has been supporting the Ghana Police Service in these 3 areas with support from the German government to partner with the police.
The community policing concept is being implemented in 9 African countries to improve public trust in the police and enhance cooperation among the police, the citizenry, and the community.
Right, you're live here on Newsnight. We're taking a break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us. Welcome back to Newsnight here on Metro Television with me, Bridget Otu. Now, as part of ongoing efforts to expand road infrastructure in the country and to ease congestion on some major routes, works on aspects of the Eastern Region roads will be completed before July 2023 deadline. Now, the Eastern Regional Director of Highways briefed the media on a tour with the Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwesi Amwako-Atta.
The national routes along Adenta, Mamfe, Koforidia, Asokore, Bunso are known as the N4 highway. The roads minister, during an inspection of that stretch, asked the contractor working on the bridge close to the Akuse Junction to extend the work to cover the road from Akuse Junction to the Sominya Township. According to MP for Kere, Dan Bochi, this will help reduce the activities of armed robbers who take advantage of the narrow nature of the roads to attack travelers. The Regional Director of Highways, Philip Okoto, hinted that the contractor was working ahead of schedule and might complete earlier than the expected time.
The contract duration is 30 months. It started from January 2021. And the expected completion date is 19th of July 2023. As we speak, the contractor cumulatively has done almost 64% of the work. By the time elapsed, it's about 54, which means that he's 10% ahead. In terms of actual work, he has finished all earthworks. He has done what we call the sub-base, almost 100% complete. What is outstanding is just getting close to the covered approaches.
The Minister for Roads and Highways called on Ghanaians to exercise patience for road projects since every part of the country would eventually be covered under the Year of Roads program.
Kilometers, okay? So when it took off around January 2021, okay? And to that time, nothing was done on this road. Doesn't mean it was not going to be done, but when it got to Eastern, look at what is going on. The entire length is being worked on. The entire length is being worked on. So the message is that wherever we haven't got into, the people must exercise patience, and then it will get to their turn.
The minister and his entourage paid a courtesy call on the traditional leaders at Edukum as part of the visit.
Right, and it's now time for business, and my colleague Winston Taki has joined us in the studio with the very latest. Good evening, Winston.
Good evening, Bridget.
Good to see you.
Likewise, Bridget.
All right, then go on with business.
Great. It's time to bring you business right after this. And now to a first business story. Agricultural mechanization represents technology change through the adoption of non-human sources of power to undertake agricultural operations. According to the chairperson of agribusiness at the Association of Ghana Industries, Fatima Ali Mohammed, Ghana needs to shift to mechanized farming in order to improve efficiency of production.
Ghana Agriculture and Agro-Processing Awards brings together players of the agriculture and the agro-processing industry. Chairperson of Agribusiness at the Association of Ghana Industries, Fatima Ali Mohammed, called for a shift to mechanized farming in order to improve efficiency.
Africa is largely an informal, unbanked and uncaptured sector, and agriculture is a big contributor to this. There is a strong need to shift from subsistence to mechanized farming to increase overall efficiency of agricultural sectors across the country. Further layering these mechanized agricultural systems on the growing energy sector to achieve farming efficiency that will power the industrial sectors.
The chairman of the Avnash Industries Limited, A.K. Machandani, believes support for local industries would lead to economic development.
Unfortunately, we're not getting support many times because the farmers makes a lot of difference. If you are sufficient and self-sufficient in the food, I think every country will survive. And that is necessary for Africa, in my opinion. So I think the government should encourage and support other than supporting importers. I think import will not help because economy which generates locally is the key for the future of country.
The financial director for KOA Impact Limited, Francis Apiaje Poku, called for support for local cocoa farmers in order to improve their livelihoods.
Potential is unlimited. At the moment, we run a 300 metric ton plant in Aseneko Farm and actually about starting our new factory that is 10 times our current capacity. So it's unlimited. Currently, we work with about 2,000 smallholder farmers in 60 communities. We hope to reach thousands and thousands of farmers. And as we all know, aside the pulp being used to ferment the beans, the rest goes waste. And this is what we hope to harness by reducing food waste, adding to farmer income and improving livelihoods.
This year's awards recognize achievements of individuals and companies that played a significant role in the agriculture sector while recognizing the key functions within the industry that promotes standard, excellence, innovation in the agribusiness and stewardship.
Oil prices slumped to about 2-week lows on Monday, expanding losses from last week as concerns grew that prolonged COVID-19 lockdowns in China and potential U.S. rate hikes could hurt global economic growth and demand for fuel.
Brent crude futures were down $3.93, selling at $102 a barrel by 6:44 GMT. The price reached 102.47 earlier in the session, the lowest since April 12. WTI crude futures fell $3.80 to $98.27 a barrel, having skirted earlier at $98.05, also the lowest since April 12. The benchmarks lost nearly 5% last week on demand concerns. Oil is re-rating lower due to the China consumption hit, while the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates to slow down the U.S. economy. Shanghai authorities battling an outbreak of COVID-19 have erected fences outside residential buildings, sparking a fresh public outcry over a lockdown that has forced much of the city's population of 25 million indoors. The US has indicated that a half-point interest rate increase will be on the table when the Fed meets in May. On the supply side, US energy firms added oil and natural gas rigs for a 5th straight week amid high prices and prodding by the government. In Europe, the Russia-Kazakh pipeline consortium was resuming full exports from April 22 after almost 30 days of disruptions following repairs on one of its key loading facilities, 3 sources told Reuters.
Members of the Abossey Okai Spare Parts Dealers Association say they are willing to move to Afienya only if essential amenities are provided. According to the chairman of the association, Xiao Ampedu, they welcome the decision because their current place will not be conducive for their business in 10 years' time.
Plans are underway for the relocation of all spare parts dealers in Abossey Okai to Afienya. According to the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Honorable Henry Korte, who has initiated Let's Make Accra Work Again campaign, the government has secured a land at Afienya for the relocation to the Abossey Okai spare parts dealers. Well, we are here to find out from them to know how are they prepared or what preparation are they putting in place to ensure for a smooth relocation to the Afienya. I have with me here the chairman for the Spare Parts Dealers Association of Abossey Okai, Mr. Xiao Ampedu, with me here.
Looking at the situation that we are in here currently, there is a demand that we have to have a better place to do our business. And over the years, we've been talking to the successive governments, including the NPP government, to give us a place that in future we can relocate this industry to that area. And I think about a year or two ago we discussed this issue with the Honorable Henry Korte, that looking at the situation that we are in, we cannot afford to stay here, because if you cast your mind back 10 years back and you see the population here and you forecast 10 years from now, tells you that the size of population here will double. So do we need to stay here with this population or this congestion? And if you're a leader, you need to do something about it. That's the reason how we are liaising with the government to find a proper place for us, so that in the future we move to that place.
You know, as it stands right now, we just heard the news. Though we are facing some challenges here in Abossey Okai, as in congestion problems, sanitation problems, and other related issues. But as to the relocating, is something that one will welcome it, but we want the right things to be done.
That's all for business here on Newsnight. My name is Winston Taki. Back to Bridget for the rest of the bulletin. Bridget?
Thank you very much, Winston. We're taking another break. When we come back, we'll look at some more stories and also sports and entertainment. Stay with us on Newsnight. Welcome back to Newsnight here on Metro Television. Phil John Korte-Bannerman is here with sports. Phil, what's in sports today?
So much to talk about. The Ghana Premier League is in session already with 26 wrap-up. Then Antonio Rudiger, he plays for Chelsea. I'm sure you support Chelsea.
He's not, I understand he's not renewing, right?
Yeah,
he's going to
the Spanish
Madrid.
capital. Yeah,
right.
We have all the details.
Right, go on.
Up next, we'll bring you sports. My name is Phil John Korte, and it's time for sports. Week 26 of the Ghana Premier League wrap-ups this afternoon when Becheme FC managed to pick a point against Karela United. Let's see the highlights now.
Surging forward there, Omar Bashiru laid on that pass. He's waiting for it in the middle of the box, and it pays dividends.
Classic goal. Well worked up. It was Kevin Ando, very persistent, fighting for all the balls. But it was Bechem United who lost the ball in midfield. Calmly, slotting home. Bashiru started the move with that brilliant pass. But the defending from Monsel Kufuor, not the best. And just look at the dummy. Immediately he turned. He had a vision to pick out the pass, and it was Omar Bashiru.
To defend the home invincibility of the Nana Fosu Jiabwa Park. Shot is fired on target. Another opportunity. Oh, brilliantly done. Brilliantly done. Executed excellently.
Outstanding, amazing goal. What a goal. Indeed, Bechem United were probing, but this is a super goal. Avagnon with a header. Okra with a setup. Kashmed, Karim, but it will fall for Okra. Just look at the turn. With his back facing.
So Bechem United are still second in the Ghana Premier League, drawing with Karela United over there. Let's go to the National Hockey pitch here in Accra, where it was the Greater Accra Safolda Hockey Championship in which Exchequers won it.
The Gala tournament was put together by the Greater Accra Hockey Association with support from Safolda and witnessed 24 clubs in action. The Theodosia Oko Hockey Stadium in the nation's capital was the venue for the competition, which was honored in 3 categories. After several hours of action, Exchequers and Ghana Revenue Authority met in the men's final game. The match failed to produce any goal after regulation time and was therefore decided through shootout. The goalkeepers kept the goalpost in check, but Exchequers capitalized on GRA keeper's mistake and won by 2-0 on penalties. In the ladies' final match, Reformers ladies faced the Police ladies in a thrilling game. Both teams came into the game showing their prowess, but were not clinical in front of goal. Just like the men, the game was decided on penalties after regulation time. After some great goalkeeping skills, Reformers ladies produced 2 goals past Police ladies to carry the day. At the end of the event, trophies were presented to the deserving teams. Some players and coaches shared their excitement.
It's been spectacular. We least expected this, but we knew very well we were going to win this tournament at all costs. Expect the best from us. This year we are taking the league no matter what.
Hockey Association Adolphe Vijay said the competition will equip the various teams ahead of the upcoming league.
I am a member of the National Association. There's a plan to take hockey to the various regions. As of now, the president has been able to build 4 more stadiums. One is coming out of Legon, Kumasi, and Cape. So when all the by the end of the year, these stadiums will be ready, and then we will expand the playing of hockey to those various regions. So Western can come to Central to come and play. Kumasi, Sunyani, and
the Greater Accra Hockey League will kickstart this year at the Theodosia Oko Hockey Stadium in Accra.
Welcome back to Newsnight. And high tides and rising sea levels are severely impacting the livelihoods of fishermen at Jamestown. Now, in the last 24 hours, many of their canoes have been destroyed by the tides, leaving them frustrated. They blame the situation on the ongoing construction works at the Jamestown Fishing Harbour.
High tides and rising sea levels have depleted the shorelines. It is one thing to hear news of a looming disaster. It's another to see the effect in reality. Sunday evening's rains have destroyed several canoes here at Jamestown. It has left many of the fishermen counting their losses. Adira has been fishing for 26 years. Although not surprised by the high tides, he blames the current predicament on the ongoing construction works on the harbour.
making program ne kwa ka ben chi anye femo no ni koyo ke ngo ba ni na wo an kwale nuele ke koyo la me wale fe gbomo resan no mo go pele ya hun ekwe wana eko le hun keke jode e afite kani bi me gbomo lele e ba fite me gbomo ya ji le hun e fite me gbomo tone cry nu emi ni anako
mo wole cheme enye ni amani bi e fite e bi
e kenga yen wo mi e se to mo 20
Some have returned to sea to pick up the pieces, fixing their canoes and contemplating the next move.
It's time here, mini, ba hold on, ba yanu chumo. Ekula, ba tashini, wana mukwa, wanu kuno, ya, ona. No, I work a little Julio Vienne. Oh, yeah, fame on the canoe, no one work at the cube. Then one Sunday, two little one, a I'm going to live in one fee. Any da, to be an enemy, the guy died by someone. Jimmy da, I'm going to film me.
The Ghana Meteorological Agency has warned that the changing weather conditions.
And Felicity Ahefia-Anyor is the head of Central Analysis and Forecasting Office at the Ghana Meteorological Service, and she will help us, appreciate what's happening and what to expect. A very good evening, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening, and thanks for having me.
Right. I mean, with what they're experiencing at Jamestown, rising sea levels, and also the damages that was caused by, the storms and the rains over the weekend, what should people really expect, and what's causing the situation?
Thank you very much. For this week that we are in, it's look pretty good still, and we don't have much rain, except there is one that we are anticipating. I did mention of it yesterday. Currently is around the central portions of Nigeria,
right,
and it's still moving forward. We are anticipating it for tomorrow, maybe mid-morning into the late hours, but then the conditions ahead of it are not too good. So it's likely that the impact may not be great as we experience over the weekend. And then for midweek, Wednesday, Thursday, we are anticipating just isolated cases of rain and thunder. Likewise, the weekend, and the concentrations area is over the transition, the middle and part of the coastal belt. The state of the sea is still rough, but then the tidal height will have started reducing as we predicted previously. Currently, it's between 1.5 to 1.6. So for this week, it's not going to be too busy, but then we'll still have rain and thunder over some places.
All right. Thank you very much for talking to us. Felicity Ahefia-Anyor is the head of Central Analysis and Forecast Office at the Ghana Meteorological Service. International news is next. And U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has said he hopes Russia loses in Ukraine and will deter its leadership from repeating its actions. He added that Ukraine can still win the war if given the right support, and praised the efforts of its military. Mr. Austin was speaking after meeting President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kiev. Accompanied by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, the visit marked the highest level trip to Ukraine by U.S. officials since the invasion began over 2 months ago. And the meeting between the U.S. and Ukrainian parties, which ran for over 3 hours, comes as Russia escalates its military campaign in the south and east of the country. That's it for Newsnight. Thank you very much for joining us. We're wrapping up now, and next we'll have Bottom Line. And then at 9 p.m. we'll bring you one-on-one with a politician, diplomat, and also football administrator, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. Good evening.